It always comes down to the leads. We need to have enough opportunities, enough at-bats to hit our sales goals. A lot of companies, what they run into is that they have one primary marketing tactic that they really focus on. It's like they have these blinders on where like, this has always worked, this will continue to work, even though it's not working, this is it. And so what we've done, I think, really effectively, and what we help our clients do on the marketing side is really focus on a vast multi-channel marketing strategy.
My 6 out of 10 is a client's 10 out of 10. You can edit a piece to death. Like, it could never be actually finished. So getting to a place, for me to get to a place where I'm okay with giving our clients stuff that I don't think is a 10 out of 10, but our clients, it still serves them. It still helps them. It still helps them achieve their goal. They don't need a 10 out of 10. So yeah, it's all vanity. It's for me to feel like, oh yeah, like look how cool this is, but that's not helping me grow a business at all.
If you want to make artistic videos, that's great. And it may pay you X number, $60,000 a year. That's what you're gonna be able to pay yourself. And if you're happy with $60,000 a year and you get to make the art that you want to make, then that is as successful as a painting company growing to $6 million in 3.5 years. Sure, because success can be measured in any number of ways. But if you're a production company owner and you say, well, I really want to grow, it may be time to start thinking about the type of video production that you provide.
On episode 467 of this podcast, we talk about why doing a perfect job can actually hurt your profits and when good enough is actually great. We also talk about how defining your core values shapes everything from your ads to who you hire. And then the real reason why contractors are crushing it with video ads right now and how you can help them. What is up, my friend, and welcome to the Grow Your Video Business Show, where I'm here to help you scale a profitable video production business that doesn't run you into the ground. I'm Ryan Coral, your epic host, and guess what? Today is my birthday. Yes. Please send me all of your money and your well wishes, mostly your money. It's my birthday. Am I allowed to do this? It's my show too. It's my birthday and it's my show. So I do whatever I want, okay? So happy birthday to me. It's actually not my birthday when I'm recording this, but I'm just gonna pretend like it feels like it. I think the dopamine or something has entered the building or my brain, and so it feels like my birthday. So this feels great. Welcome to my birthday. I'm excited to have Bradley on this episode. You'll hear more about our history, but this dude is something else. He's so talented, so handsome, he's so funny. You know, he's all of the things. I want to be like him when I grow up. You know, all of that stuff. So welcome. If you're brand new here, sorry, not sorry. But guess what? It is December. It is almost Christmas and Hanukkah and all the other winter holidays. What do you call them? I was gonna say all the other Christmas holidays, but that kind of defeats the purpose in saying that. Yes, I might be drunk right now. It's not true. I'm not, but drunk with love. Love that you're here. But here's what I'm getting at. I think it's next week that I'm going to record my end of year reflections episode, where I'm just going to talk about all the things that I've learned this year in my own video production business and in life. And I love reflecting, and I love this kind of episode. So make sure that you stick around. If you hate this episode, come back for more, because they'll be different and better. I promise you. Also, we are doing so much new cool stuff that you're going to want to know about, hear about. I would just invite you to make sure that you're subscribed to the show. If you're not on my email list, get over there. studiosherpas.com/newsletter. That is the simplest, most basic place where you can go and just sign up for the newsletter, and you'll get the weekly emails that recap these episodes, and then all the other fun announcements. But we've got a software coming out next year. We've got tools that will help you in your creative business. It's gonna be great. I'm working on a book. Have I told you that? I'm working on this book project. I'm actually going out tomorrow, flying to New Jersey to work on it a little bit more. And it's just going to be, 2026 is going to be epic. It's going to be crazy. I'm excited for a lot of different things. But I am here to help support you in your business, and I want to be able to do that. And I bring on amazing guests like Bradley, but I've learned a lot of stuff in my business, so I want to help you. So subscribe if you haven't, and share if you haven't. And let's get into this episode. But remember, newsletter, sign up. If you don't get it already, studiosherpas.com/newsletter. Hey, maybe that could be your birthday gift to me. You can go sign up for the newsletter. And then I'll also share my PayPal and my Venmo, so you can send me cash, or Reese's peanut butter cups. I don't think you can send those through Venmo yet, but there might be a day, because who knows, with AI, who knows? Okay, enough of my ridiculousness. Thank you for humoring me. I really appreciate it. And I also appreciate humoring you. So you're welcome. Okay, let's get into today's episode, Junior. Okay, let's go. Let's roll the tape.
What's up, friend? Hey, welcome to another episode of the show. This is the sick version of Ryan, but we're going to do this and it's going to be great. Today, I'm super excited. My friend Brad Ellison, who is the founder of Ellison Painting and Rollout Marketing, is here joining me from not that far away. I realized earlier, I'm like, we should have just done this at my studio, but alas, so glad to have you on the show, Brad.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you. And for the record, I think you're always the sick version.
Starting off strong, man. Strong to quite strong. And that's a wrap. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the next episode where we're full of laughs and all the things. Okay, so we met. The first time I met you, I don't know if you remember this, but we were both in like I don't know if it was the Christmas skit or the Easter skit or something like that at Kensington, and we both had the same role. And I was just impressed with your acting ability. I'm like, ooh, I want to be like that guy. And as I started stalking you on social media and finding out more and more about the work that you do, I've enjoyed so much what you have been building and the success that you've had, and you're a funny guy, man. So I don't care what the haters out there say. I think you're funny. I think you're cool.
Well, ditto. Yeah, it's been interesting because you and I have been running like in the same circles, peripherally knowing each other for probably about a decade now. But never really hung out or had a real one-on-one conversation until I think this year, right?
Yeah. Your background, you were in the agency world for a while, right?
I've been in every world for a while. Yeah. I started my real career in sales, selling life and health insurance for a number of years. I transitioned out of that into the marketing world for a time. I helped run a marketing agency locally here. So that was different type of agency work, though. We represented manufacturers. We did a lot of digital marketing and web development and stuff. And then I got out of that world, stumbled into painting, stumbled back into marketing now.
Yeah. So how do you how does one stumble? Like in my mind, like you're in this like sort of like creative-ish space in the agency space, and then you move into painting. Like, how did that even happen? And then share a little bit just about the success that you guys have achieved over just a short period of time.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I've kind of stumbled into each career segment maybe that I've been in. I don't really go out looking specifically for a role or a path or an opportunity. I just kind of, when I see an opportunity present itself and it seems like a good one, then I'm willing to try it out. So the way it happened this time was when my wife and I got married, we decided to not work for anyone else ever again. And so we both quit our pretty decent paying jobs and launched a health insurance agency together. I'd seen how much money some of my old friends were making from the insurance world. And I'm like, I always outsold them. I could probably outsell them again. And so we did that. Yeah. But if you know anything about insurance, it's very seasonal, especially if you're doing the individual health insurance like we did. So really, you can only work 3 months a year. So then the question was, what are we going to do the other 9 months a year? We got pregnant right after our wedding. So we had a baby on the way. I wanted to be somewhat responsible as I was becoming an adult at 34, 35. And so we prayed about it on a Saturday, said, all right, what should we do? We felt like we were being led to pursue some sort of sales or partnership opportunity in the trade, something that would be busy in spring, summer, fall, and would allow me to transition back to the insurance world every winter. And the next day, we met someone from our mutual church that owned a painting company that was looking to hire a sales guy and someone to eventually take over his business. And met him on a Sunday. We agreed to partner on Tuesday, and I ended up running his business for 4.5 years before I left. Here I am.
And today, how big of a company is it? Like, where are you guys painting?
We ended up not buying the company that I partnered with. We started Ellison Painting April of 2022. So right now we're about 3.5 years in. Over the past 3.5 years, we've grown very, very quickly. We were actually the fastest growing residential paint company in America. And this year we're going to do a little over $6 million in painting projects, which puts us in like the top 0.1% of painting companies nationally. So we service most of Metro Detroit, southeastern Michigan. We're looking at some other opportunities now to expand, but yeah, it's been fun. And I have never painted a house. But we have 80 painters now that paint, and they're phenomenal. And we have full-time project managers and salespeople and admins, and yeah, everything's going gangbusters. It's been a lot of fun and quite profitable.
What would you attribute that success to, right? Being one of the fastest growing companies, and can you point to a couple of things that you're like, oh yeah, these, if it could be this, wow, I can't even talk and the things. So just answer that question, please.
I would say probably two things have contributed to our success most. The first is I have almost no aversion to risk. I've been through a period in my life where I lost everything and came out the other side infinitely better. So I'm not worried about losing anymore. So we kind of went all in on the painting thing. We had saved up some money, we invested it, we spent money in marketing, and we just kind of pedaled to the metal, grew. And I don't know, if we had failed, I would have just went and found a job and everything would have been fine. I still would have had my wife, I still would have had my daughter, everything would have been fine. And so Rachel and I have very, very high tolerance for risk. But the second thing, which I think has contributed to the continual growth, is I feel like I'm an expert at sales and marketing. And most painting contractors don't have 20 years of sales experience like I have. They have experience painting houses. And the transition from being a painter into a painting contractor and business owner is a far more difficult transition than transitioning from an insurance salesperson to a painting salesperson, right? So I have this crazy advantage over almost all of my competition because I just know how to sell and I know how to market.
Right. Well, rest assured, if you do lose everything again, you won't technically lose everything. I'll always be here for you, man.
Oh, buddy.
So,
I mean, it's more important that my wife and kids are going to be there, but knowing that Ryan Coral will also be there also makes me feel so much better.
So would you say, I was going to ask a question, what would you say your superpower is? Do you think it really is sales, or is there something else inside you that you're like, man, this actually is the thing?
Yeah, I think I have a pretty decent emotional intelligence. Maybe you could call it the gift of discernment, which contributes then to my sales. Like I understand almost intuitively what people need to see and hear in order to feel comfortable and confident to trust what we're doing. So that certainly helps. But I don't know if I have a superpower. Yeah, I think I'm pretty darn good at sales. I'm also I've learned how to suppress my ego enough to allow other people that are better than me at certain tasks to take over those tasks without me overseeing them. I don't need to be in control of everything anymore.
That's really good. What was at what point were you able to kind of release that control?
I would say this past year, I made the decision that I wanted to bring a partner on. I knew that at some point I would reach a ceiling of where I could take the business on my own. And some people with a maybe unhealthy ego would want to see where that ceiling was. And I had no desire to do that. I was like, let's just move the ceiling up by 10x. And so I brought my partner on and very quickly realized that he is way better at managing people. He's better at that interpersonal relationship piece within the business. And that's when I realized, oh, wow, I kind of thought I was a good manager and I'm not.
Yeah.
I'd say maybe I'm a decent leader. I'm probably
Yeah.
really good at developing systems in which people can operate, but I'm not really great at managing the people to operate within the systems, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's really good. It wasn't until, I've been running my business for 21 years, and it was not until this year that I realized like I suck at managing people.
Mhm.
Like I've done it, but even more so today. I don't know if my guys listen to the show, but I would not want to work for me.
I don't know that I don't want to work for anyone, first off, but yeah, I think that people wanted to work for me. I think they probably wanted to like me more than they did. And
Yeah, yeah,
it's funny, the relationship I have with my employees now is probably a lot better than it was before because they don't need me
right.
to solve the day to day. They got Tim.
Yep,
They don't need
exactly.
me to, handle and be conscious of their emotions or whatever. He's doing that, and so we could just
Yeah,
have a more chill relationship.
yeah. I mean, that's so interesting. Uh, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, I hired an operations person, and that was the first time in the business where I wasn't managing, PTO, and I'm mad at this employee, or we're not
Mhm.
getting along, or whatever. But up until then, I was in there. I'm trying to bring peace and all this stuff, and when I got to stop like dealing with that stuff, it was like, oh man, I number one enjoy the work a lot more, and I'm just so much easier to be around. But then through COVID and staff changes and all of this stuff, lo and behold, I find myself back in the operation seats
Mm.
and doing all these things that I'm like, oh my gosh, this if there's frustration in running a business, it's probably because you're stuck in the actual operations and managing people where, you know, some of your superpowers, most of your superpowers probably lie elsewhere in the craft, or,
Right.
in your case, like actually like selling and being able to do something completely different than the actual craft itself. But, it's been so interesting. Even I hired a fractional operations person who started a couple of months ago, and I'm like, oh, I'm getting back some of the things that I've been missing for so long. Not being so concerned about what's my PTO or comp day, blah blah. I'm like, I don't why don't ask me those questions. They're
Absolutely.
important questions, but why do I have to be the one that is answering them?
Right. Unfortunately, I found someone that their superpower was all that. Thank God for
Yeah,
Tim.
yeah, that's good. It reminds me of the EOS book Rocket Fuel, where they kind of break down a visionary and an integrator. And for me to realize like, oh yeah, I'm the dreamer. I've got all these big ideas, and then there actually are people in the world that want to take, some of those ideas and can see them, to completion, and worry about the details and the plan and all that stuff. And I
Yep.
can be, kind of in the space where I keep dreaming and doing my things. But thinking in the past where I felt like I had to do both things, that was also interesting. It's like forcing a round peg in a square hole,
Yeah.
understanding that you've got certain things that you're really good at. And if you could just focus on those inside of your business and hire people to do the other things, the business will probably be so much better. And my guess is, based on you hiring Tim, it's like the business is thriving because of that versus, stalemating and being where it was at for so long.
For sure. I mean, in 2024, we did a little over $5 million. And that was the first year that Tim came on in like April, I think, of 2024. Could we have gotten to 5 million without Tim? Maybe. Probably wouldn't have been fun. I probably would have had to work a lot harder and would have had to do a lot more tasks that I didn't really enjoy doing. But it felt easy getting there with Tim. And now this year has been a big transition year for us because the 5.1 million we did in 2024, about 2.5 million of that I sold personally. 2025, I took a huge step back, and we're like, all right, let's see if Ellison Painting is a real business or whether it's just like Brad is just continues to push it forward
Yeah.
with whatever skills he
Yeah.
has. And we're going to grow about 25% this year, and I will sell maybe 600,000. So 20%, a little less than 25% of what I sold in 2024, and the business is still growing. So
Yeah.
it's been a big proving year. Even though dollar wise we won't grow as much as we have in previous years, it's by far the growth that I'm most proud of to this point.
Hey, quick timeout. If you're listening to this show because you want to grow your video business, but you feel like you're spinning your wheels doing everything yourself, and you're wondering why it's not getting easier, well, listen up. I've been there multiple times throughout running this business. The bottleneck, feeling burnt out, the late night, what's next, panic, what did I forget? That's exactly why I started the Studio Sherpas Mastermind a few years ago. This is a small group of just 12 video business owners who are done figuring it out alone. Some members have doubled and even tripled their revenue. Others have hit over $1 million for the first time in business. In this group, we talk strategy, profit, we go over systems and hiring and mindset, all of the things that actually move the needle. So if you're serious about scaling your studio without losing your sanity, apply now at studiosherpas.com/mastermind. Don't keep doing this thing solo. The climb is a lot easier with Sherpas by your side. Again, it's studiosherpas.com/mastermind. All right, let's jump back into the show.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yep.
So think in terms of, I'm running a service-based business. It's a little different than painting, but still service-based. And, our listeners, this is the position that we find ourselves in. Not enough leads, not enough jobs, always wanting to be able to charge more, find more clients. What would you say, if you were to consult somebody like me to say, hey, these are the things that you need to be looking at. If you want more clients, these are some strategies. You probably have gotten stuck here. Have you considered this? Where would we start that conversation?
So again, my background is in sales and marketing. And so for us, it always comes down to the leads. We need to have enough opportunities, enough at-bats to hit our sales goals. If we sell our service, I know that we can figure out how to produce it. Right. That's like an afterthought for us.
Right.
We will get it done. Our service is phenomenal level of service, but that's not our chief concern. Chief concern is finding more customers. And what I see a lot of companies, particularly in my industry and maybe in yours as well, what they run into is that they have one primary marketing tactic that they really focus on, and they live and die by that one strategy, or that one tactic rather. And it's like they have these blinders on where like, this has always worked. This will continue to work. Even though it's not working, this is it. And so what we've done, I think, really effectively, and what we help our clients do on the marketing side is really focus on a vast multi-channel marketing strategy. If our marketing strategy right now at Ellison Painting, obviously we have our website, we are running regular SEO services, we're running Google ads, we're running Facebook ads, we're running Google local service ads, we're doing direct mail campaigns, door hanger campaigns, we have active referral and email marketing campaigns. We've engaged with a couple companies that do direct text message lead generation activities. We hired a company to do social media posts to local Facebook groups on our behalf to generate like more organic leads. We have all of these channels open, and we're constantly monitoring how many leads we're getting from each, what the cost per lead is, what the net sale per lead is, and adjusting our marketing budget accordingly by what's working on a week-to-week or month-to-month basis. And so if Facebook, like Android, I guess, I don't even know, but the guy that runs my marketing agency told me this. Android just released some big update that is going to dramatically change how Facebook ads are displayed or delivered to Android users. Well, like that may interrupt our lead flow on the Facebook side. So he's identified the problem. We don't know exactly how to solve it yet until the update is fully released and we figured out what it looks like. But it won't impact Ellison Painting at all, because we can just move marketing dollars other places to make sure that we have the leads coming in. And so any company, whether it's your industry, mine, any others, is not going to grow without the opportunities to sell your services. And companies, entrepreneurs should not be limiting themselves to those opportunities just through one, maybe two marketing channels. There's thousands of marketing channels from which you could generate leads.
Yeah. The challenge is, and you know this, that, I only have so many people working for me, and we've all got different responsibilities. And so I can feel like I'm checking the box of like, oh, okay, if I'm posting in LinkedIn on a regular basis, like there's my marketing channel. And, maybe once in a while I'll send an email to a past client, see if anything's, cooking. Outside of that, like, there's this feeling of like, man, I got to, I'm going to start running meta ads, and okay, and maybe we should do a mailer. And what would you say for the person who doesn't have, a big staff or a huge marketing budget? Like what is a good next step to consider?
Well, why don't they have a big marketing budget?
Yeah, guys, why don't you have a big marketing budget? I would say that most people, hand raised, when we started, it was like we got work from word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what has carried our business forever. It's like so much word of mouth, and like, okay, we'll dabble in a little bit of SEO, we'll dabble in a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So I don't think that for most production companies, they would say like, I'm not running ad, or I ran an ad to like the general public to hire, hey, you need video, then call us. It's like, that's not a helpful ad. That's not doing anything there. So, if people are running ads, I would also say production people would say like, why would we do a postcard? Like what is, like, we do video, like, how is this going to help? So I think there's just a lot of like, beliefs, because none of us, and I say none of us, I'm speaking, very broadly here, but for most of us, this is our first business. We worked somewhere else. We fell into video. It's Brad, it is crazy how many people that do video accidentally fell into it because somebody asked them to shoot their friend's wedding or whatever. And then they start doing it, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I'm being creative, and I get to be my own boss. And like in this, I get to make stuff. This is really cool. And so we don't have any business background. And so for somebody to say, hey, 5% of everything that you make, that should go back into marketing. Like we never started that. That's never become a part of what we do. So now if somebody's going to tell us, hey, you should be, spending X amount, we're like, oh crap, where's that going to come from?
Yep. All right. So I have a few thoughts on that. So first off, word of mouth marketing, word of mouth business is fantastic. It's free, right? And you can grow a really healthy, profitable business relying solely on word of mouth marketing. At some point, you will hit a ceiling of what you can generate with that alone. And I run into painters all the time that say, oh, all you need to do is good work, have a good reputation, and you'll stay busy. Right. Yes, you and your two guys will stay busy year round. Yeah. If you want to grow a business that has 80 painters like mine, we cannot rely strictly on word of mouth. At some point, you have to start investing in paid marketing to generate enough opportunities to grow a bigger, more profitable business, okay? So word of mouth is great, and that should always be part of our overall marketing strategy, and it is for us for sure. This may be your first business, Ryan. It may be another production company owner's first business, but it's not the first business, which means that other people in your industry have already solved the problem that you're trying to solve, which is how to get more leads and grow your business. So I don't think it's up to you or me or any other business owner that's listening to try to figure out how to do it. Other people did it. And I've spoken on this hundreds of times, like ad nauseum, that I have not built a new or novel paint company. I have taken ideas from other people and simply tried to do them better. I didn't figure out how to run ads on Facebook. I copied what other companies were doing successfully. I didn't figure out how to run a successful door hanger campaign to generate leads. I copied what other painting companies were already doing and just tried to do it a little bit better. So if someone is kind of paralyzed because they don't know how to do it, then ask other production company owners or other paint company owners how they did it. And if your industry is anything like mine, we share information very freely. There's a lot of business to go around. We call it in the painting world cooperation. Right? I have guys in our area that are technically competitors of mine, and we share information and insights and resources all the time because we know that if I lose a paint job to Elite Painting, Nick Kelly, or Brian Scott at Exterior Painters, I don't have to close the doors at Ellison Painting because I'm gonna win jobs from them. They're gonna win jobs from me. There's plenty of jobs we're not even gonna bid against each other on. There's lots of work to go around. So in the spirit of cooperation, you could probably get a lot of insight from other production company owners that have successfully made that transition from a word of mouth company to a paid marketing company. The final thing I'll say on that is it is an investment. So if you wait until you have the money, until you feel like you have the money to start investing, it's probably going to take you a very, very long time to get there, if ever. If you see the data that a production company that spends 5 to 10% of their projected revenue back into marketing grows by this much each year, then you should have some confidence that the money that you put out will come back in the form of increased revenue. And that's what we look at. We budget between 8 to 10% of our target revenue back into marketing, which means this year, I think I'm going to spend close to $500,000 to generate sales opportunities. And I have confidence spending that $500,000 because I know the numbers. I know that if I spend that money, I'm going to be getting at least a 10x ROI, plus our word of mouth, plus our repeat business. All of that will get us to the sales numbers that we want.
Yeah. Love that. That's really good. I mean, it's a very challenging concept for those of us who have not invested much. Mm-hmm. And we're always thinking like, what's the ROI? And for me in the early days, I mean, I think we did like some magazine ads for some local magazines, and we didn't know how to like, oh, we should have a specific landing page or a specific phone number on those ads so that we can have an idea of how many calls do we get from there, how many jobs do we book. So yeah, it's the ROI factor is really challenging. My recommendation for you to not feel like, oh God, 10% of our revenue, that's like so much, but something very easy to consider is whoever your niche market is, figure out what events that they're going to, or that they're hosting, that they're putting on, and see if you can be a sponsor at that event and try to meet as many people and have a booth and maybe film the event and have a recap video and host that recap video and let people know like, hey, we're here, we service, painting companies or whatever. And these are kind of things that we do, but that, a very specific event like that, you can really get a pulse on, are these people resonating with what we do here? Did I get any business cards? Are we having any follow-up conversations? It might not feel like you're spending, 8 to 10% of your marketing, but realistically, your time is worth, something. Mm-hmm. And, showing up to an event like that. And then if you're creating anything, that is a return, or that is an investment. So whether or not you're paying the dollars, if you're putting time in, that should be considered as well.
For sure. I'd imagine what people in your industry run into, and we had talked about this briefly, I think previously, is a lot of people stumble into the production world, but it's likely because it's something that they really are passionate about. They want to make really nice videos. Maybe they even want to make art. And that can be a limiting factor in the growth of their business, which certainly there's nothing wrong. If you want to make artistic videos, that's great. And it may pay you X number, $60,000 a year. That's what you're going to be able to pay yourself. And if you're happy with $60,000 a year and you get to make the art that you want to make, then that is as successful as a painting company growing to $6 million in 3.5 years. Sure, because success can be measured in any number of ways. But if you're a production company owner and you say, well, I really want to grow, it may be time to start thinking about the type of video production that you provide. And maybe you make videos for contractors. Maybe you film videos for paint companies and roofers and electricians. And it's not art. But guess what? We have money to spend, and we need videographers that can make decent videos. We don't need art videos, right? We don't need videos that are going to be nominated for awards. What we need are videos that will help us generate leads and will help generate some interest in our services. And it might be a lower ticket dollar item, but it can also be a more profitable ticket item.
Yeah.
You don't have to spend the amount of hours to create the art.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that some people in your industry run into that. They don't want to slum it in that type of videos. And I see it in my industry too. We have
Yeah.
craftsman style painters. They don't want to slum it doing the type of work that Ellison Painting does. Fine.
Yeah.
Fine. Go do these high gloss finishes, and you can only work on the 7 houses in Birmingham that might want it, and I'll take the other 300,000 houses in Metro Detroit, because I run my business not because I'm passionate about painting, but because I'm passionate about creating a really good customer experience, changing the legacy of my family, and providing a legacy changing opportunity for the people that work with me. That's what I'm passionate about. And so I'm willing to slum it
Yeah.
running a painting company, because it's providing me more than enough financial resources to do all the above.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I love that. You make a great point. For me, I remember after we had our second kid, I was faced with this exact thing where I felt like we had made, so many beautiful pieces of art, and I was improving. My filmmaking abilities were improving, but then I realized, I'm like, man, I could keep improving, but I'm not going to be able to charge much more for the improvements. And so I was faced with that. Or I'm like, what if I spent more time learning the business and trying to grow the business? And I decided, I was like, you know what? It's been a good run of like growing as a filmmaker and making cool stuff, but I'm more interested in creating a legacy. And, we started thinking about college for our kids and savings and all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't have those things. And I feel like we have the building blocks to be able to have those things, but I'm so focused on, making something that's just so gorgeous and just beautiful, whatever. But the ROI from a client's perspective, that's not helping. They're
No.
like, okay, so it's a beautiful piece, but like, how is this going to make me more money? And when I made a decision then, okay, I'm going to focus on becoming a better business owner, figure out how to scale and do these different things. My encouragement to you, because people that are in this work, I think there are so many of us that want to make stuff that we're proud of, that we think is beautiful and moving. So don't quit doing that. But if you want to have this as a business, then you need to do some stuff that's just not that sexy, that's not that cinematic, like whatever. In some cases, I think there are some people out there that people are going to hire them no matter what, and they create this beautiful art. But for the majority of us, we should be spending a little bit of time on these like more selfish driven things that are creative and beautiful and moving and keep us excited about the work, while spending the majority of our time figuring out, how do we create this as a sustainable business? How can I charge more? How can we be more efficient and have more processes so that you can do this work and you can keep buying gear if you want, upgrading your stuff, so that you can scratch this itch of like, I want to make like awesome documentaries that move people, but nobody's going to pay me for them. So until they start paying, I got to spend 10 to 20% of my time just doing this because it's keeping me excited and whatever. But over here, I got to serve clients that I'm not like super excited about it, but it's cool that I'm in this industry. So it's taken me a long time to get to that spot of changing that mindset, but that's kind of, I resonate with what you're saying.
Well, it's funny how many parallels there are in our industry, because I talked to I got a buddy here locally that does really high level finishing, and the conversation that I've had with him and others afterwards is, when he's painting a house, he's trying to attain that artistic level of perfection that only he's going to appreciate. And by the time he gets to his 75%, he's already surpassed the customer's expectations. So that last 25% is purely for vanity and at the cost of his profit. So, you don't want to do a bad job. Of course, you want to do a great job for your customers, but you also need to understand what their expectations are. And so, I told Joe, I'm like, take the high level finished jobs, do those and be passionate about them. Every once in a while, you got to take just a profitable job where the customer is expecting a decent level of painting and you can actually make some money so that you can afford to take the high gloss job next.
Yeah. I keep saying this where I think this was the year. I think it was this year where I realized that I'm always, I've got high expectations for me. So that means I also have high expectations for my team. Every piece that we create, I want it to be like a 9 or a 10 out of 10. this year I realized, like, holy crap, all of this extra time, that extra 25%, clients do not care about.
Yeah.
A 6 out of 10, like my 6 out of 10 is a client's 10 out of 10. They're like, this is great. This is where, but you know, for me, I'm like, the lighting on that interview is not that awesome. And we could have, you know, there's more stuff you can edit a piece to death. Like it could never be actually finished. So getting to a place, for me to get to a place where I'm okay with giving our clients stuff that I don't think is a 10 out of 10, but our clients, it still serves them. It still helps them. It still helps them achieve their goal. They don't need a 10 out of 10. So yeah, it's all vanity. It's for me to feel like, oh yeah, like look how cool this is. But that's not helping me grow a business at all.
I'm glad you finally came to that realization. Now you can run a real business.
Dude. Yeah, seriously. Taking long enough. Before we wrap, I want to know, your Facebook ads are some of my favorite.
Thank you.
Great personality. I love how you show up. Are there any, like, when you think about, you know, us filmmakers, most of us, we're the face of the business, whatever. Are there any ads that you've seen have worked particularly well that could maybe apply to somebody in the production world that's considering, hey, maybe we should have some kind of an ad or something like that we can.
You mean an example of our ads that have worked?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have some favorites of ads that we run. And one thing I am proud of is that I actually write all the scripts, come up with all the ideas, write the scripts for our ads. And may have missed my calling in that. Maybe I feel like when I watch Mad Men, or when I used to watch it at AMC, I'm like, that should have been me. But I probably wouldn't make much money doing that. So what we do and what I think about when I write our commercials is, how do we capture the personality of Ellison painting? And so I don't know that there's an example of one of ours that would apply to anyone else's business. But what I would say is when we write an ad, like we have one that I really love where, and I've had this idea bouncing around my head for a decade now, where I wanted to shoot a video where I'm shooting a basketball while I'm talking, and every single one just misses, clanks, airball, but you don't acknowledge it, right? And so I'm like, all right, how can I make this into an ad? So I had the idea that I would be shooting a basketball while I'm talking to the camera. Hey, I'm Brad Ellison, Ellison Painting. We are Michigan's highest rated painting company, and yada yada. And I came with this line. And I said, we have more 5-star reviews than any other painting company in Michigan. And just like my jumper, it's not even close. And I wink at the camera. Like, that is funny. It's highlighting, we are the highest rated company. We're the best in the business. And it's adding some humor. And that's our brand. One of our 5 core values is levity. That's lightheartedness, which is pretty unique, I think, for most companies to have that as a core value. Yeah. So we lean really heavily into that because that is a differentiator in our marketplace. Our ads are somewhat funny, not cartoonish, not clownish, but somewhat memorable. Where when we go to do an estimate, they're like, "Oh, I really like that video. Oh, I like that video where you said, hey guys, your wife called, she wants to get the house painted. I got an idea for you," and I go through all this stuff. So I guess the lesson there that would apply to any business is identify your core values, and any ad that you put out should highlight at least one, ideally 2 or more of those core values. So ours are performance, integrity, professionalism, fairness, and levity. So every one basically highlights levity because I want to have a sense of humor. But they're all gonna highlight at least one or more of the others. So figure out what your core values are, and then think about some ideas. I think there's actually a good market for a guy like you, Ryan, where if you could put together an offering for contracting companies like mine, you're funny, you're smart. You could probably put together some decent scripts, help them film them, because most contractors they're not gonna be like me. They can't think of the ideas. They're going to need someone like you or me to come up with the ideas for them. And there's a huge opportunity for production companies that are willing to slum it in the contracting world to provide a super important, super valuable service at scale within a certain niche or industry that definitely needs it.
I love that. That's so good. And I'm really glad that you talked about the values thing, because if you're not funny naturally, or that's not a part of, your vibe at all, the point of any type of ad or any type of promotion or branding or anything is that it would resonate, that it would feel like you, so that you can attract the people that align with your values, with your personality, the brand's personality, and that you can repel the people who don't vibe with it.
Correct.
Like if people are too, they want a painting company that is super high end, super serious, attention to detail to the max, whatever. My guess is you'd say like, that's not our client.
Probably not going to hire
us. Trying to capture. Right. So for you to go to market like that just makes it so much easier when you're having that first conversation with somebody. They're like, hey, I like that. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, there's a reason why you're having a conversation with them. And if you were different in person and they're like, wow, like every person I've talked to at Ellison, they're all like super serious and, they talk really different than I, like that would be a misalignment and you don't want to work with people that just don't get you.
We have a marketing client. He owns a painting company in Chicago suburbs, and his vibe is the opposite of mine. He's an older guy and he's very serious, really good guy. The name of his company is Trusted Painters. So when we write the ads and create the videos for him, it's a very different vibe. It's all about reliability, trust, punctuality, efficiency, and that's it. And the messaging is a lot drier, but we're trying to attract the people that vibe with Kevin's personality. Not mine.
Yeah. Dude, this is great. Man, I appreciate your perspective. It's super fun to get this time together. How can people follow along with everything that you've got going on?
I would say probably the easiest is through Instagram. If you want videos of me playing pickleball and working out, that's at Brad Ellison on Instagram. Ellison Painting MI is Ellison Painting's handle. And then for rollout marketing, it's rollout.marketing on Instagram. All three are there and love to have you.
Awesome. Cool, brother. Well, how do you want to leave us today?
Man, I would just say, I would challenge the listeners to consider what they're really, really passionate about. If that is creating art, then lean into that and understand what that means for your business. For me, my passion lies with my faith, my family, my fitness, and my friends. And I have a painting business to feed those four. And so yes, I want to provide a high level of painting service, but my primary goal is to serve my God, my family, take care of my body, and have some friends. And so I am less concerned about what I do as a profession and more concerned that my passions are fed through my profession.
Dude, that's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Core values for your work, super important, but then also who are you and what do you care about? I think that's really, really important to define. Dude, way to leave us. That was like solid. Appreciate you, my friend. It's so proud of you and the success that you've achieved, and I'm just grateful to be in the life circle of Brad Ellison.
Well, thanks again for having me. Looking forward to seeing you in person soon.
Hey, thanks so much for tuning into this episode of the Grow Your Video Business podcast. If you got something out of today's conversation, do me a favor, share it with a friend or post it on your socials. Tag me at Ryan Coral or at Grow Your Video Business. I'd love to know what resonated with you. If you've got a question or a takeaway, drop a comment wherever you're listening or watching this. You can also shoot me a message. I read every single one. And hey, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. We've got more stories, strategies, and behind the scenes insights coming your way to help you build a business that you love. Keep creating, keep sharing your story, and keep showing up. I'm cheering you on. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you next time.